up, nature lovers? It's Kayla, connecting houseplant lovers to the nature that we try to surround ourselves with inside. In today's video, I'm gonna pot up some spring blooming native plant bulbs and give you an update at the end of the video. So let's get to it. So after a long, boring, dry, cold winter, springtime is very energizing for me. I love going on walks in the woods and looking for the plants that tell me it's finally springtime. Many of these plants are that signal for me. Do you like to take walks in the springtime and look for certain plants? Or any plant at any time of the year? Let me know. So I've only seen twin leaf in a purposeful planting, like in a garden. I've never seen it in the wild, and I hope to someday. Matt Candeas from Indefensive Plants has an affinity for this little cutie. Its leaves remind me of lungs. You know, like they're oval shaped and they're connected in the middle. So cute. So, I don't know, anthropomorphic. Bloodroot is definitely one of the plants I look for, and you absolutely should too. I get so excited to see these in colonies in the springtime. So the roots, they bleed red when they're broken, hence the name bloodroot. These plants do have medicinal properties. To me, they just seem so innocent and so pure. I'd have to say, besides valerian, bloodroot's another plant that I spiritually connect with. Just like I am gullible, I think that's a little bit of innocence on my behalf, not really knowing any better. Bloodroot also is very innocent seeming, and it has one single leaf that kind of clasps around the stem of the flower, and it kind of reminds me how I like to be wrapped up in blankets whenever I'm hanging out. And it's also a larval host. Another plant that I noticed is Trout Lily. I kind of remember the first time that I saw it, like I was no longer oblivious to plants all around me. I was like, this has to be some sort of an orchid, and it wasn't. They're part of the lily family, I think. Well, yeah, Trout Lily, duh, lily family. Their leaves, though, because they're kind of mottled, they very much remind me of a paphiopedilum orchid. If they're not of flowering age, they only have one leaf. It could take about 4 to 7 years for them to bloom. Now, wild ginger, I see wild ginger all the time. It's one of those plants that kind of sticks around during the year. They form really dense colonies, and you can kind of see that they have like a rhizome as a root structure, and that's how they often spread. It does have really unusual flowers that come around in the springtime, and the flowers like this deep red, like a maroon color almost, and it sits right at the soil line. It kind of reminds me of a little ant cave. And, eventually the ants do help disperse the seeds, so, ants make the world go round. Ants actually help with the seed dispersal of a lot of plants in this video. Trillium is a crowd favorite. This particular species is very widespread. I just listened to a podcast episode from Indefensive Plants about the genus Trillium. It's another signal to me that springtime has come. It also grows from a rhizome, and it sends out this single bright white 3-leaved flower with 3 leaves, which are actually bracts. So it's like a modified leaf, much like an anthurium flower has a bract, or bromeliads have a flowering bract. Deer love to graze on trillium flowers. Speaking of 3-leaved plants, before this year, I think I had only seen Jack in the Pulpit once. I didn't really study it much. I recognize the berries when I see them, but I hadn't gotten the chance to really get a good look at the flower until this year, and I can tell you I'm in love. I mentioned this plant in my aroid family video, which I can link above and below. That's where I go into a bit more detail about how it's edible and it has medicinal properties. Please watch that video before you just go and eat the plant. But this 3-leaf plant is most likely pollinated by fungus gnats. What houseplant lover loves fungus gnats? Next, Virginia bluebells has leaves that are so delicate and so thin, it'll go dormant if the conditions are too hot or too dry. It's a popular plant at native plant sales. I'm not sure if it was the first time I saw it, but at a native plant sale here in Michigan, everybody was walking out of there with a little bit of Virginia bluebells. And so the video of the plants right here was taken outside somebody's house when I was driving around. just a whole grouping, like definitely purposefully planted, but beautifully planted. Unfortunately, I lost my little bluebells during previous moves, so I'm glad to have it here again. Butterflies are usually the ones to pollinate it, and they will produce little nuts with seeds in them before the plant goes dormant until next spring. All of these plants are woodland full shade plants. I thought I'd include what the root system looked like in case you're curious, plus I can go back and see them if I forget. While researching each of these plants, besides Jack in the Pulpit being an aroid, so it's related to some of our beloved houseplants like philodendrons and monsteras, I also saw that wild ginger is a member of Aristolochiaceae. Yep, Aristolochiaceae, which is under the order of Piperales, which includes the Piper family. So that beautiful Piper crocatum on Nick Pileggi's YouTube channel is distantly related. Woo! I'm just always trying to relate these native plants to our houseplants and really bring them into focus. All the plants here are worth taking a closer look at. I hope that was relaxing for you. It's very relaxing potting things up, in my opinion. And I wanted to give you an update on the container. Okay, so I've got a lot going on. This is all natives as well. Obviously, this is a coleus for some color, coleus, but native. The container I'm focusing on is this one right here. We have got the Jack in the Pulpit, which did flower right there. I've got the wild ginger here. Let's see, what else have we got? I think I have elm trees sprouts that have fallen in and are growing. And so I need to double check that because that's kind of cool. Because I collected a bunch of seeds and now maybe I don't need to. Coleus. So let me try to remember. Oh, this is the Virginia bluebells as well, and it didn't flower, but it did leaf out, and it's probably getting a little too much sun here. We moved, and so we have less shade than ever before. It's not a whole lot to look at because most everything is gone or dormant. I don't know if I mentioned while doing the voiceover that I think some chipmunks or squirrels took out, I think, the trout lilies, so those might be gone. Let me see what else was supposed to be in here. The bloodroot I don't think I've seen since I planted it, so we'll see if that comes up next year. Next spring I can do an update on this. That would actually be really cool. So like I said, I put the coleus in here for some color. So yeah, Jack in the Pulpit, ginger, the wild ginger, Virginia bluebells. Oh, the twin leaf. Let's see, I thought I saw something. Maybe not. The twin leaf I thought maybe I saw, but actually it might have been the cotyledon leaves for the elm trees or something. I'm not sure. That was up front, so we'll have to wait to see if that comes up. Let's see what else was in here. Yeah, the trout lily might have gotten eaten. I think that's everything. So besides that, we've got some Virginia creeper, not poison ivy, but grows alongside. It has this like blue sheen, which I'm really enjoying, and it's just, I mean, I have to prune this back. It's kind of taken over. A variegated Solomon seal. This is Marybells, super cute little delicate flowers come in the springtime. I've got some early meadow rue here. I think that's meadow rue. I put the tags. I haven't put the tags in yet for everything. Oh, wild ginger, which I did want to show you some footage of the wild ginger at our last place. Just absolutely gorgeous. And I think it had trillium. Oh yeah, the trillium. I don't know how the trillium's doing in the my container, but it was absolutely gorgeous at our last place amongst the wild ginger, which was very prolific. I also have some violets, some wild violets. I think we had white ones, so I dug up some white ones from our last place before we moved. And in some of these containers I also put wild strawberry. This is wood poppy. It has a cute little yellow flower. Jacob's ladder here. Let's see what else is in here. back in here too is that one's a bishop's cap. And I got a lot of these from Gray's Greenhouse in Plymouth during their native plant sale, like this Jacob's ladder and the bishop's cap and the meadow rue and the wood poppy. This one I got from a native plant expo, the Marybells, and these are seed pods. Okay, I can do more of these native plant containers too. I have some sun-loving ones as well. So hopefully there hasn't been too much kids screaming and yelling and airplanes flying over to watch this, but I just want to thank you for watching and have a good one.